about it. We ain't going back. You send us back. We coming back. That's just like what they said. We ain't going back. You put us back. You deport us. You throw across the border, and we coming right back. We're not going to be on the side of that side of the fence and have nothing. Y'all on this side, and y'all got everything. They just say, we ain't going back. Now, I don't know how we going to resolve this immigration issue, but I've talked to them out in Phoenix, and they say, we ain't going back. This will be one of the most serious issues that President Obama will have to deal with because we can't keep kicking this immigration can down the road. Eventually, you have to deal with it. So they're saying there are 12 million undocumented immigrants, at least 12 million. Now, if those people decide a civil disobedience campaign, they can wreak havoc in this nation. We got to figure out how to cut some deal with them. And what I found out in Phoenix is not just the Mexicans. It's not just the Latinos. What they've done is they have created a coalition with the Vietnamese, with the Chinese, and with the Japanese. Now, they going all the way back to World War II. The Japanese saying, here's how they treated us during World War II. We'd been here working and laboring, and when the war broke out, they came and picked us up and locked us up. We hadn't broken no law. They bringing all these people into conversation, and they're building this coalition. This issue will have to be dealt with. I don't know what the answer is, but I'll tell you what the answer isn't. They ain't going back. that answer is not going to happen. And frankly, if they went back, then we wouldn't have no lettuce and no oranges and no strawberries and no fruit, because we ain't going out there to pick it. You see, they picking all the fruit in California and in Florida. We not going to go out there. It's too hot. First thing we say, it's too hot out there. I don't know, I might get dirt under my fingernails. I might crack a nail or something. Somebody got to pick this food. You got to hear the rest of the story. But that's one of the reasons that we're hated and despised. People hate us because of our affluence. They hate us because of our wealth. That reason why, to be honest about it, we get mad at rich people who got a whole lot of money. We just kind of get mad at they don't need all that money. What they doing all that money? They're just wasting that money. They can give me some of that money. There's something about when you see someone with something, you have a lot of ideas as to what they ought to be doing with it, rather than what they're doing with it. And that's where the rest of the world looks at us. Jesus is describing a world where there's just tension. There's tension everywhere on every issue, and people are unable to come to an agreement as to how to deal with the issues that are affecting the world. Are y'all listening to me? We got world issues here we can't resolve. We got cap and trade. We're going to cap and trade. I don't know if it's the right idea or the wrong idea, but the Chinese not capping nothing, they're not trading nothing. They're just going to keep polluting the nation, the world. And so it's not like we can keep their polluted atmosphere over their country. It kind of blows this way, you know. These are major issues that create a tremendous amount of tension. So when you hear them talking about cap and trade, ladies and gentlemen, don't you think that's not a global issue? That's a global issue. That is about economics. That's about who's going to have economic power, who's going to be able to continue to drive their manufacturing base at a minimum amount of cost. And that's what the argument is, where if the Chinese are not going to participate in cap and trade, they will continue to run these energy inefficient plants, pollute the atmosphere. We're going to invest all this money in this technology to try to clean up the atmosphere. The price of our goods and services are going to go up. Therefore, we're not competitive on the world market. That's what this is about. You got to understand what this is all about. This is about money. When you see people getting mad, normally it's about money. Money is somewhere close by. Because people get mean when you mess with their green. They get funny when you start playing with their money, and they don't like that. So these issues, they create tension. They create tension. This whole health care reform thing, I don't know what the right answer is. I'm shaking in my shoes. I don't know what we're going to have at the end of the day. I don't know how much it's going to cost us. I don't think nobody knows how much it's going to cost. And I don't know what it's going to look like when it's all over and done with. I don't know. They might come in here and fine us because we ain't providing health care insurance for folks. They're going to fire some of y'all because y'all don't have health. I don't know what the right answer is, but I know it creates tension because it's about money. It's about money. It's about wealth and who's going to control and have the control of this 1/6 of our economy. 1/6 of the United States economy is in the healthcare industry. And so the health insurance companies, they're salivating right now. I thought this was about dealing with them, but it looks like to me they're going to get the best deal. Because once this thing is signed into law, about 30 million people are going to have to go and buy health insurance who currently don't have it. And some 12 million are probably going to have to buy it on the private market. And I'll tell you what mine costs, $1,000 a month. That's what it costs to buy private insurance on the private market, and I got a $5,000 deductible. This is pretty expensive, isn't it? Well, these are major issues, and they create stress, and they create tension. And even this country right now, we're at the brink of almost a civil war, and the only reason we're not going to have one because the people are not courageous enough to do it. This health care thing, man, you wait. There are going to be lawsuits flying all over the place if they vote to approve this thing today. People will say it's unconstitutional. Some states say, no, we're not going to participate. It will create more stress and more tension. If this thing passes, and I'm not passing judgment on it because I ain't had time to read no 1,500-page document. But there's so much resistance and the inability to come to some agreement that this will be one of the bloodiest elections you've ever seen. You watch. Well, this is what Jesus is describing, where there's just tension, there's on every issue. Nothing is easy, everything is grinding around. He's describing these days toward the end. And then he says something interesting. He says it's going to get so bad, verse 21 of chapter 24, for then there will be great tribulation, such as has not been seen since the beginning of the world until this time, no, nor ever shall be. And unless those days were shortened, no flesh would be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days will be shortened. And a lot believe this is during the great tribulation period, and we'll do that sermon another time. He's just describing how bad things are going to get in the future. Then if anyone says to you, look, here is the Christ, or there do not believe, for false Christs and false prophets arise and show great signs and wonders, so as to deceive, if possible, even the elect. See, I told you beforehand. Let me tell you how I think that some of this is going to play out. We have created, through the advancements of technology, something absolutely incredible. We've created a virtual world. We've created a world of make-believe right alongside the real world, where young people today are growing up with the technology where they can do just about anything technologically and creating images, 3D images, stuff look real, and it's not real. And I believe that that's one of the ways that the enemy will deceive many people. It will be having this advanced technology and having the ability to broadcast it to the entire world and to get people to believe something that looks to be real, but it's really not real. So Jesus is saying if the very elect was not preserved, that even they would be deceived. You say, well, this can't be possible. Let me tell you why it can be possible. Genesis chapter 3. In Genesis chapter 3, Adam and Eve are in a utopian garden, the Garden of Eden. They've never sinned, therefore they have no lust in their hearts, no lust in their minds. And they have the Word of God in their mind in its profound simplicity. The Word of God was simply this: be fruitful and multiply. And you can eat from every tree that's in the midst of the garden, except the tree of the knowledge of the good and evil, for in the day that you eat thereof, you shall surely die. That was it. So they ain't going to figure out Leviticus and Lamentations and Daniel. They ain't got to worry about all that. Just be fruitful, multiply, eat from every tree except the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. When the day you eat thereof, you shall surely die. So they had a clarity, understanding of the Word of God. We have the Word of God veiled. We cannot understand it. We don't fully understand it. Paul writes about that. He says, now we see darkly as through a glass, but when Christ comes, we'll then see face to face. Now we know in part, then we will know as we are known. But Adam and Eve knew as they were known. They knew